We're going to talk to Dalton Johnson at 8:30 about Summer League and some of the things Steph Curry said up in Tahoe. He's getting ready for the Celebrity Golf Classic. What do they call it? The AAC?
Yeah.
Or the ACC? Nah, Atlantic Coast Conference. No. He's up in Tahoe. He had the longest drive.
It's basically the celebrity golf thing. That it used to be Pebble, but now everybody, like back in the day, the clam bake. But now everybody's kind of in season, and so this is the in vogue thing to go up during the summer to Tahoe.
American Century Celebrity Golf Championship, according to Sam Lubman, up in Lake Tahoe. So Canelo Alvarez is up there. Mahomes is up there. Mm-hmm. They're driving the ball left and right.
Everybody's up there.
Everybody's up there. It's a who's who. Who's who? So
I'm sure Carlton is somewhere on course, being himself. He's part of the celebrity circuit of golfers. Yeah. I'm sure Mark Mulder is up there. I'm sure Marty Fish, the tennis player, is
Charles
up there.
Barkley's up there.
I'm sure Charles Barkley's
Andre
up there.
Iguodala's up there.
Okay.
Kirsten Moran, the Blonde Bomber's up there. From our digital team here at 95.7 The Game. So he's here getting all the content. Again, Steph Curry talking about how this team is shaping up. Here's Steph Curry on the current state of the Warriors.
I think competition is always high. There's a few surprise teams every year, but you kind of know who the top echelon of the West and even the East is. Obviously, Denver winning. They're a very complete team, and they played amazing. Jokic is awesome. Jamal Murray. So every other team is trying to make adjustments and trying to get better. Like, even when you win, you try to get better every year, and some moves may seem drastic. Some might be a little, fine tweaks, but I think every team is trying to take stock of what they have. And
so he says this team makes a lot more sense this season.
For us, it was about trying to, make the pieces fit a little bit better, to try to give us more versatility on both sides of the ball. We understand our core is back, and, adding CP, some other vets that were going to really help us fill out the rotation and increase our depth. We got two young guys who were in their third year, J.K. and Moses Moody, who are going to be, have huge opportunities to, take another step in their career. So that's where we are, and we feel like our team makes a lot more sense this year. It's just a matter of, again, going out and playing and letting the season kind of unfold and understand what we need to do to beat the best in the West. So
the team makes a lot more sense this year. The pieces fit a little better. I know.
What do you make of that? I mean, I thought you were pausing to give me.
I was going to ask
insight.
you. I was going to ask you. What do you make of it? So I got a couple thoughts.
Well, I mean, it's not just what he said yesterday. You guys sent me some audio that I listened to in the car coming home last night.
Larry Harris, we'll get to in a second.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, you know what I mean? And it's something that we talked to. Like, man, no one, like you and I have talked a lot about like their relationships and everybody being kumbaya.
Yeah.
And I think we underrate in life, just because you're having success doesn't mean everyone's getting along.
Right.
Pick the industry, right? You see it all the time. Like, pick the industry. A construction site, right? Oh, we just completed the project. You don't think there was turmoil along the way? Now, I'm not saying every site has turmoil.
Right.
But, like, you think sports are any different than real life?
No.
Pick the law office you work in. You think everybody's getting along?
No.
Okay.
There's no chance.
Pick the...
Every walks of life, every team, every job. There's always going to be somebody who doesn't like somebody.
Kenton Bonds famously fought in the dugout.
Bonds choked him out.
Right? I don't think that they were the best of friends. That doesn't mean they couldn't work together.
Bonds choked out Kent that game, and they both hit home runs in that same game.
Yes.
Which is incredible.
The footage is so grainy when you look back at it.
It's so sick.
Yeah, it is. Kobe and Shaq clearly didn't get along, and it ended ugly, but they make sweet music together. Mm-hmm. How many bands have broken up that were in turmoil?
Yeah. Migos, they broke up. Offset.
I mean, on the list of bands breaking up, I don't think that
a recent band that just broke up.
Everyone's brain goes straight to Migos.
Hey, man. Quavo and Takeoff had to go do their own thing, man. Offset and Quavo was beefing.
If you're going to use a rap one, I would start with Death Row Records, but that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going recent memory. We got to remember, we got a lot of youngsters listening too now. We got some old heads too, but a lot of people don't remember that stuff. Cash Money Millionaires, they broke up. No Limit, they broke up. Everybody breaks up. Hell, we may break up.
Backstreet Boys, there you go.
But no, they may take my job next week. I may be hitting a different slot when I get back from Maui. I may be doing a pregame show from 5 to 6.
Call me Robert Baratheon. I'm the usurper.
Robert Baratheon.
See, he's coming to take my job.
Does that make Sam Lubman Littlefinger?
No, he's the hand. He can be Tywin.
The hand.
Sam Lubman's ready to stab somebody in the back. Just saying.
That's just life as the hand, you know?
Migos did squash the beef. I get it, Tyler. They did.
But I guess where I'm going is just because you put out a hit record, right? Mm-hmm. In this case, a championship, I just figured everything would be a lot better. And we could say, oh, it's just the punch. I think everything was deeper than that. Now, I do think the punch is a big part of it. But Bonte, clearly people weren't accepting their roles. The disease of me. Everyone wanted more. Everyone wasn't on the same page. I don't think the style of play was conducive for enough players on the court. I don't think that the ancillary pieces on the outside made the great players be extra great and more efficient, nor do I think the great players had great seasons.
Right. Made money. Bonte doesn't know music. They made money. I love you. Trust me. I do not care.
He be blending into the couch, bro.
When somebody's like, Bonte, your music game is weak, I said, well, how's my sports game? That's all I care about, man. I ain't getting paid to talk music. I ain't getting paid by 106 KVL, folks. I don't care.
Oh, hey there.
Just play a beat. I don't care.
I'm just saying that if you're gonna go like, artists, musicians breaking up, I don't know how many. If we polled 100 people like Family Feud, I don't know that Migos would come to the top of the board. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is a hole in my game.
Migos had a cultural impact, man. They've had a great decade. They've had a lot of hits. Yeah, SFA drummer, the Jacksons did break up. They're family members. They're brothers. Stuff happens. But it is, to your point about coming off a championship and not having that same synergy, it was a bit surprising that you hear these clips saying that, hey, man, we didn't have the right pieces. Now, they lost Bielitsa to Otto Porter Jr. They had lost Gary Payton second for the first part of the season before trading for him. They add in James Wiseman. I thought it was all going to be a bonus. I swear. I thought it was going to be a bonus. I was like, man, you got Kuminga coming in for a second year, Moody, Wiggins coming off that finals performance, Jordan Poole coming off of his season. And then you think about the way the season played out, but it's a little surprising to me, Shasky, that's the rhetoric around this team. Was like, yeah, we just didn't have the right pieces around us.
Now, can random things happen, like the Miami Heat not looking perfect all year and then somehow finding a way to go from the 7 seed to the 8 seed in the playing game to all the way to the finals? Yeah, I'm sure but that's an outlier. I think the majority of times you need to trust what your eyes are showing you. How many times did you, me, Dan Dibley, and Mark Willard sit in this room during crosstalk at the beginning of the Warriors season last year, and it was, I'm not worried. I'm not just saying you. A lot of Warrior fans.
A lot of us not worried.
I'm not worried. They're the champs. Ignore what your eyes are telling you. And I remember I was on panic level early in the season, and you guys all made fun of me. And I'm not trying to say that I was right, but what I'm trying to say is,
you're always in panic level.
What?
You're always panicking, though.
Well,
that's the difference.
I mean, I think I've been. My track record speaks pretty good.
Yes! No,
Jimmy Garoppolo had flaws.
No, you panicked.
The Warriors did not look like a champion, and again, there are outliers. I'm not saying that those don't exist, but you need to trust what your eyes are telling you. And I think that when we were watching last year, they just didn't look like a good basketball team, nor did they look connected. And I think it was hard to speak to it, but now that the season's over, now that the roster's turned over a little, everybody's speaking to it. And it puts those contexts in it. I'll give you this, all right? Well, anybody that's lived with an addict at any level, okay? You're in a level of denial when you live with someone that you love and that you trust, and you don't realize that they're addicted to alcohol, or maybe they're suffering from depression, or they might be addicted to drugs or something. And then something happens, some traumatic thing happens, and then you look back on all the stuff leading up to it, and you're like, how did I not see it coming?
Well,
I was blind. I turned a blind eye to it. There's a reason I don't think anybody exists.
I don't think we turned a blind eye to it. I think we underrated how much one incident could affect everything. One incident like that, and then you saw the way that first road trip went. And it wasn't the kids. Everybody was blaming the kids for all the losses. Oh, man, they're pulling the lead, blah, blah, blah. The veterans were playing in the last 5 minutes in a lot of those games that they blew. And something was just off, especially when you only win 11 road games. So my panic was, I think they could flip the switch. I kept saying that. They could flip the switch. And then Wiggins misses too much. I'm like, boy, maybe you're not going to flip the switch. But then you beat Sacramento, you play the Lakers, you have home court advantage, it sets up well for you, and you make the second round. So Look, man, I'm not going to panic about an NBA season a month in, but there's no doubt things were off. And we kind of talked about that all throughout the season. Something was just off. And we know what it was.